we pin down our code base and test and we have 100% coverage, we're in a good place to start refactoring. And we're going to use our AI assistant to help with that. What's great is AI can easily identify and recommend code improvement and suggestions that enhance readability, performance, and we're going to leverage our AI to do this. So first, let's start off with our test we're most familiar with. So we're going to go into our test, and you can see we have a lot of tests here, and we're going to ask our AI, can you refactor the tests? Like there is a lot of rotation, and you put them into some hard let's send that and see what it comes back with. And if it's certain, we can use PyTest and parameterized tests to reduce the duplication. Here's how you can refactor those tests. So we're going to copy everything we had here, and we're going to paste it over, and we see that instead of having individual test cases that check out our various things, we now have everything in a nice parameterized test where we can see what is going on. We have our normal item, we have our sulfurous, we have our backstage passive, and a lot of things that go around there. Let's run our test again. And we still have 100% code coverage, and we have a nice, more condensed way of viewing all of our tests. Next, let's go on to the actual code itself. So if we look, we have a lot of nesting. There are a lot of magic numbers, a lot of hard-coded values, and the overall complexity is just hard to follow. So let's try this with our AI assistant real quick. Let's say, can you help me refactor this code to be more maintainable and understandable? Question mark. It should. Duplication. See what it comes out. Certainly, we can refactor the update quality method to be more maintainable and reduce duplication by breaking it down into smaller, more focused functions. Here's a refactored version. So if we look at it, it has taken the update quality, it's looping through each one, updating the sell-in and updating the quality. It's skipping over our sulfurous, the sell-in, the quality. Great. So we're going to take this, and it's very important when asking AI to update your code that we run tests after every update so we know whether or not we have introduced any regression. We're going to run our test again. And look, we're still at 100% coverage. All right, let's look at what it did. It created an update sell-in function, an update quality function. It still has a lot of hard-coded strings. It has a lot of magic numbers. So what I'm going to do is I want to ask it to remove the hard-coded string and magic number. It says, certainly, we can refactor the code to use constants for the hard-coded strings and magic numbers. This will make the code more maintainable and easy to update in the future. So with just that one change, we're going to copy what it did, and we're going to paste it. We're going to run our test again. And we're still at a good coverage amount. Now that we've removed the magic numbers and hard-coded strings, and we have our test passing, it looks like a lot of the logic is baked into each of the functions. So when I had to add a new item, I'd have to type it many different places. What I want to do is try to ask our assistant to help us out here. It looks like the logic for updating the various parts of an item is contained within each function. As the conjured mana item, I am going to have a lot of pieces of code. Instead, I would like to just update or add a function handling the conjured mana items. See what it comes back with. Here, let's refactor the code to be more functional. We create separate functions for each type of item, use a dictionary to map the names to the respective update function. This way, adding a new item type will be as simple as adding a new function and updating the dictionary. That sounds great. Let's copy this and let's see what we get. We don't need the actual item class here. This should come from our item that our Doppler made. So I'm going to import that, and we're going to run our test again. And we've introduced something such that we're still not have something covered. Oh, a conjured mana item. So with that a little bit ahead of time for us, I'm going to remove that, which is not part of our current. We're just refactoring. We're not trying to add new functionality. And what we can see is we have this list of update functions where if it's a degree or backstage pass, it's going to grab the function, update the item, and then handle the expired items if it's there. Expired item still has a bit more complexity than I want inside of it. Let's see if we can take it a step further. The expired items function still has a lot of complexity based on the item type. Is there a way we push this into the updates for each item type? And it says, certainly, we can refactor that. Well, let's see what it did. All right, so now it took out that handled expired item and everything is just focused on the item type. So we're going to take this and we're going to replace our code. Going to paste. So what I see right here is we have an if check that we could probably get rid of. I'm going to ask the AI assistant to filter those out instead of having our if statement that's the thing for loop. And we filter out the purest items instead of for loop. Certainly, we can filter out the suffers and for entering the loop. This will make the loop clear and avoid unnecessary checks. So if you look again, we're just going to update our function here. That way we don't have our if check in here and it used a list comprehension and filtered everything else. I'm going to test one more time. And there we go. We've effectively refactored the Gilded Rose file to be a lot more readable and maintainable. More things we could do, but we're at a good place such that we've made the change easy to make the easy change.